All right, cats and kittens.
Ooh.
It's the Angry Man Show. Free Joe Exotic. Hashtag Free Joe Exotic. Anyway. So it's Friday, episode 5.
Yes.
5 and counting. So, yeah. Getting ready to fire up for the weekend. It's kind of be a Friday happy hour without actually going anywhere.
It's the best way to have happy hour.
Yeah, right. Drinking here. So, all right. So, man, I was looking at there's a lot of news out today, but I want to talk about, I heard this interesting story about lessons learned being quarantined on a cruise ship.
Oh boy.
So a couple was, they were trapped on one of the Princess lines that was out to sea from, they wouldn't, where they wouldn't let them dock.
Right.
So they had they were basically had everybody stay in their hotel rooms or in their cabins. So for like weeks. So the couples, a lot of these couples that just met or they were, hadn't been together long and now they're staying in like a room together for like weeks. Because they were talking about how they stayed on the ship, sorry, not a boat. But anyway, they stayed on there and they would come around and take their temperatures every day and all that. But other than that, they didn't get to leave the rooms until they finally docked or whatever. So they basically had to learn a lot about themselves, and they have some lessons for how to stay together during a quarantine. I thought some of them were pretty good. So I want to kind of share those with you guys and see what you think. So the first one they were saying was don't focus on the negative. So don't focus on the negative.
You mean that extremely small little cabin that they're stuck in?
Well, just don't try not to, they're just saying in general, if you're stuck together, don't focus on negative things because it's easy to the brain tends to respond more strongly to negative events than to positive ones. So just to try to make an effort to focus on the positive.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Good rule of thumb to live by.
So I think,
generally speaking, not even just for the quarantine.
Yeah, I think that one would be have some self-control. I think is where that one's coming in, and I think a lot of this has to do with that having a lot of self-control on self-control. Can't talk today on doing a lot of that stuff. And the other ones, obviously, don't focus on the negative. So the next one, obviously, focus on the positive. It says find ways to maintain positivity. Some examples they were given, maybe look at old photos and videos of your relationship, talk about, since you have so much time, talk about memories and things like that. Just look at the positive things, especially if, you start going down that road. Right. And you know how it is. You go down that road or you're just having a bad day or you're having a bad couple days and there's like one thing goes wrong and the next thing goes wrong.
It's
and then
like
you're
a snowball effect.
And then you're at each other's throat kind of a thing. So, one, being conscious about it and stepping back, making an effort to fight negative reactions is the other one. If a bad thing happens or you're getting on each other's nerves and you have a bad trait or something, or your partner has a bad trait that annoys you, try to, fight that negative reaction and try to be positive as best you can. Even step away, get a little bit of distance, whatever you have to do, but don't let it go to where, you can't come back from it. So
exactly. And it's not always what you say when you get angry. It's how you say it.
It could be, yeah. I mean,
that's a lot that in mind.
Right. And it also says, so if you have to speak out, so if it gets to a point where you have no choice but to mention it, your farts stink or whatever the hell you want to talk about. Eat better food, you're driving me nuts, you're chewing too loud, I can hear you blink, whatever it is. Your blinks are driving me nuts. Or,
I have a feeling some people are getting that already.
Because you're close quarters. You're close quarters right now. So, I mean, I think you have a lot of that.
A lot of people are learning a whole new side to their partner.
I'm sure they are. And imagine if you hadn't been together very long. And then all of a sudden you're trapped in this little, I don't even know what the square footage is. It's like a 10 by 10
It's like
or
a little sardine can.
Especially if you're in the lower levels, the lower levels of the cruise ship, those are like, man, you're really
with no windows.
Space, right? You got a little,
you
got no fresh air, no windows. You're stuck with that person.
You're literally just in a box. I couldn't imagine.
But I mean, basically what they say is if you could survive that, though, I think a lot of us, if you can survive this quarantine and this whole ordeal, I mean, obviously you can survive about anything, I would think, after that. Because, I mean, this does put a lot of pressure. And
a lot of mental stress. Yeah.
A lot of people just aren't ready to handle it or not mature enough to handle it, I guess you would say. That's another thing. So, I mean, I always see I know a lot of people that probably just are not handling this well.
No, and I think that's why there are so many people at this point that are kind of really worried about checking in with everybody at a certain time or whatever and making sure that you're reaching out to those people, because you never know how unstable this could make somebody really.
Right.
Or for somebody who may have already had an unstable past mentally, for this to really just kind of resurface it, because you can't get out. You have no social anything.
Right.
So
yeah, that's the thing.
Stay in contact with your friends and family, y'all. Make sure everybody's doing well.
Y'all.
You know
she
what?
said y'all.
Y'all. You should be used
but
to
going
this
along
by
with
now.
that, I was some things I've been noticing also kind of going along with that. So you got to think, a lot of these countries like China's been in quarantine for like 8 weeks. So a lot of content is coming out just to show the level of boredom people are at. And they're showing like these crazy videos like TikTok and all those. Like I watched one the other day. It was just a girl like just basically dragging herself across the floor. It was just, what I mean? You're coming up with just such insane, crazy stuff because you're so bored
the level of
inside.
boredom.
I mean, they got people jumping off of things. You're trying to just all kinds of craziness. And they said that right now, like videos and podcasts and content are increased by like 50% on all platforms.
I can see that.
So, I mean, everybody's creating content. So not only are we doing it, I mean, everybody else is doing it as well. I mean,
just trying to reach out in any way you can.
Yeah. I mean, I had this plan for a long time to get this thing started. It just happened to be that it kind of kicked in during this time. So, but I mean, a lot of people are making videos and just doing all kinds of things to amuse themselves. So,
it's bringing out their creative side.
But I mean, they were saying that, the activity on TikTok and Facebook and all of them, it's just skyrocketing because people are just, you're sitting there just scrolling your feed,
Right.
for hours on end or whatever, so you're seeing it's just completely absorbing content. So
What kind of ludicrous video can I make that'll get people's attention today?
yeah, and even that, just seeing what your family's up to, and then also you want to go down. A lot of people get sucked down the political rabbit hole right now too. So, you start seeing, like we saw a lot of posts that got us going. We're just like kids partying on the beach, when you're supposed to be locked down and things like that. So people see that stuff, and that stuff's just becoming kind of a problem. I mean, and that was kind of be next thing I was going to talk about. It's kind of be my angry thought of the day segment, I guess, was going to be today. And it wasn't really an angry thought. It's just something I'm seeing and something I'm experiencing online, and I hope maybe I assume a lot of you guys are. So, it just seems to be a defiance against like social distancing. And it's becoming like a subculture to defy the social distancing. So, I mean, you see lots of stories just in different posts where people are just saying they're defying the orders, from state officials, and they're calling the virus just a stupid hoax. One big example, and I saw was like a news stories today, and just from what I've seen also is I saw that golf courses are still full of golfers. They're full of golfers.
Yeah.
They're disregarding the rules. And a lot of them are older, they're 65 plus. And this is from the article. This is what they're saying. So, and they're just saying, you know what? I don't believe it. It's a hoax. And we're just going to do what we normally do. So we
just make up all of these deaths.
So they're disregarding the rules. Then just going about their day. They're piling into golf carts, shoulder to shoulder. It just seems like now that if you say anything to anybody about it, it's almost like it's a division between, it's almost like Republicans and Democrats. It really is. It's becoming that way. You're either for staying in or you think it's crazy and you're for staying out. And if you say anything to anybody like, hey, we should stay in, I think you guys should stay in, people, you just get attacked. And I get into these.
You do.
And I stopped doing it now. I actually started just staying away from, other than, doing the stuff with the show and stuff like that, and getting research and stuff ready for, to talk to you guys. But other than that, I've been trying to stay away from commenting on anything, because you just get sucked into this rabbit hole and it becomes, you're just sucked in.
Stay positive.
Yeah, and it becomes, it's just a political thing. It becomes such a political thing. So you've got non-believers versus the believers, and it's like Republicans and Democrats, and then even the president's flip-flopping. So he was saying this week that he wanted us to be normal by Easter, but then later after that, he was like, after his health advisors got to him or whatever, he basically dropped that now, and is now he's kind of he's going against that now. But I mean, the coronavirus is it's become like just this culture war of social distancing, and is viewed as like a political, now social distancing is like a political act, or it's a way to signal which side you're on, like, oh, you stay inside, oh, you don't stay inside. So it's like you're picking a side, which is crazy. And because it just creates, I think it's the misinformation is what it is.
It is. And it's the fact that this is all new to everybody at this point. This is nothing that could have been really foreseen or prepared for, as people are saying that we could have been better prepared for something like this. Not really, because I mean, you don't really know what you're going to discover. You don't know what's going to come up from day to day.
Yeah.
There's no way to predict.
And we can go, and you can go down that rabbit hole, which I'm not going to do on this. I just really want to touch on the point, because I just see people, I just want to touch on the fact that it's just become like this us versus them kind of thing. And I didn't want to get into the political side of it, because you could say a lot of things, against and for that too. There's reasons why we weren't ready there. You could say that because we pulled the budgets, there wasn't enough budgeting for the places, there was things changed. But you could also say, hey, we weren't just ready for it because whatever reason. I don't want to go down that road, but I mean, there's a lot of reasons for, there's a lot of reasons against, but just it's crazy though that just the social distancing part has become so crazy and such an argument.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just become this thing. So, not everybody's resisting social distancing as a political statement either. I mean, many people, I would love to, a lot of people are saying, hey, I would love to stay home, but I have 2 kids. I'm a single mom. I have to go to work. Yep. I work at, a grocery store, or I work at Amazon or someplace where, they're not really, they're full steam ahead. So it's not that, everybody's, there's like, what do I do is what they're saying, a lot of that. And I get that part of it when they're on there saying, why, how can I do that? And this and that. And $1,200, folks, a $1,200 check, as everybody listening to this probably knows, it's not going to do a lot for you. It may help you out. It's going to get some food on the table possibly, but it's not going to pay your bills if you're a single mom. So, I mean, that's a lot part of it too. So, I mean, you have to balance this. It has to be a balance, and we have to find some way to balance this and combat this. So, I mean, it's just the craziness. Just as an example, I saw today, which kind of got me reason I want to talk about this, was here locally, our beaches were closed recently. So, but now there's an online petition and it has like a few thousand signatures already to open our beaches back up. To reopen the beaches.
The purpose of being quarantined.
Yeah, the reason they were closed is people weren't observing the social distancing practices, and they weren't staying away from each other. And
that's like making an exemption for these group of people, but not this group of people.
Yeah,
eventually, you're going to have to either do it all over again or just say no and keep your foot put down. That's ridiculous. And
then they're just talking about, just only open it to residents. Well, how are you going to, you have to think about how can you police that though? So now you're going to have police guarding everything. They're already guarding it.
You're going to check the ID of every person that comes through.
Right. And we're a huge tourist town, so that would be almost impossible. So, I mean, it's really troubling times. I really feel sad in a way that, I mean, for the sake of our neighbors and the economy, I hope we can just do better, and hope the government makes the right decisions. I hope we as people make the right decisions. So that's my little speech for the Friday today. We'll get on to some lighter stuff now, but I just wanted to touch on that. I saw that, and I hadn't been talking about that much, but just one more darker note I wanted to mention. I had read this as well, that in the southern states, more younger people are dying from coronavirus. They said it's based on the stats and everything. And they said the reason why is in the southern states, we tend to have a higher rate of lung disease, heart disease, obesity. And so because of that, and the younger people having that, they're more susceptible to getting it. So they tend to be in the southern states seeing the numbers sway to the younger folks rather than the older.
Is, right?
So
you know why that is, right?
What?
It's all that butter and fried chicken.
It's at Five Guys.
That can be found everywhere though, but butter and fried chicken is something that's a staple in
It
the
could
South.
be. I don't know. It could be.
I'm just saying.
But I thought that was an interesting stat. I don't want to stay on the coronavirus topic, but I thought that was an interesting stat that down here it seems to be swaying more younger. So I mean that's pretty scary, especially scary for me because I'm overweight. So I mean I don't know. I'm doing a lot better taking care of myself, but it happens. I mean it's just a crazy thing that's happening. So I know we were talking about I think you'd said something about HBO was going to be free or something. I thought that was something cool to let people know.
HBO,
all of their apps, right? All their apps are going to be free.
HBO Go, HBO Now is all free during the quarantine time. Yep.
Oh wow, so that's an interesting. So there's some
there
news for you.
Yay! You get to rewatch.
Yay! She said yay, not gay. By the way, I just yay.
Whatever. No, you get all the free shows, though, all the HBO series, the shows and stuff that they put on. You get the movies, all the good stuff.
So one cool thing is I saw Adam Sandler wrote a quarantine song. So if you're a fan of Adam Sandler, I'm going to play it. I don't know if I think we're okay. We're kind of commenting on it, but I mean, we're going to wing it anyway. We're going to show it to you anyway. So we'll see what happens. But this is the Adam Sandler quarantine song.
Is that loud enough? Yeah.
It was on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show, and he starts playing. It's a little rough because I think his connection was bad, but...
Doctors brought us into this world as babies, and doctors take good care of your grandma.
Oh, boy.
Doctors always give you an old
We go from baby to grandma.
after hitting your knee with a hammer.
It's a little rough.
Nurses slap your arm till they find a good vein. They wear Crocs and they tell you the truth. Nurses give you ice packs and pain medication while your doctor is smoking on the roof.
This is a really rough song.
Doctors and nurses will save us
It's
from
not
the
exactly
stress if
lunch
we
lady
give them
land.
the supplies that they need.
I mean, the Hanukkah song was actually smoother than this one.
Yeah. But he said, I cut that part out, but before he started, he said that he had just learned it and he was kind of reading it as he went because some other guy came up with it, I guess, some of the guys in his band or whatever.
So during gym class, you don't have to run the mile. School nurses give deodorant to sticky kids. So
well, anyway, I won't go through that, but you guys can check it out on YouTube and all that fun stuff that's out there.
And all the Spanish doctors in Spain.
I like Adam Sandler.
And God bless Chinese.
Anyway. Yeah, that's a rough one, ain't it?
Golly, I might need a drink after that.
You're supposed to have a drink. We need to have a virtual happy hour. Everybody grab a drink and jump on the. Actually, you could probably just do it live. Do it live and have everyone do Facebook Live and everybody jump on or something. I'm trying to again. By the way, if anybody you guys. If you have something to pitch or if you have, think you have something interesting, we're going to start doing some interviews and things like that, bringing people in. So we have that capability. So if you guys want to, hit us up on email, or actually you can check us out at anchor.fm/Angry Man Show. You can send us a message. You can email us, hit us up on the Facebook page. All the information is in our about there. You can email addresses and all the ways to get a hold of us. So, trying to build this up and make it something awesome for you and awesome for us. I hope you guys are liking the content that is there and what we're doing so far. This is a short one. We won't be back until Monday. So we will see you on Monday. Everybody have a great weekend, a safe weekend, and be nice to each other and try to get the hell outside and do something, breathe some air, do something. All right, guys.
Positive.
Yeah. See you guys later. We're out of here.
Bye.